Quilters, today is the show and tell for the current 2023 AQS and AccuQuilt-Along project.
Stay tuned to see how everyone's finished quilts turned out.
Hi Quilters, I am Pam Hiller, AccuQuilt's cutting expert.
And I'm Erica Botker, AccuQuilt's creativity expert.
Okay, to start things off, we know that it is May 3rd.
Yes.
However, tomorrow is Star Wars Day.
May the 4th.
Be with you. So we're wearing our shirts, and the lovely Erica got them for me.
I did. So I was on a little quilting journey.
Yes.
I walked into a quilt store and somebody had one of these shirts on, and I said, I need your shirt.
Yeah.
She said, I didn't buy it here. I bought it from another quilt store. So
Yeah.
I tracked them down, and here we are.
So if you're looking for the ultimate quilting shirt, this is it.
This is it.
And we don't have a show tomorrow, so today we have all sorts of May the 4th be with you paraphernalia on the set.
That's right.
All right, but welcome to today's event called the 2023 AQS and AccuQuilt-Along series, Scrappy Log Cabin Quilt Show and Tell. Today we're showing off our finished quilts, or the process that we're in,
right.
and sharing many of yours as well.
That's right. Now, if this is the first show with this quilt-along that you've tuned in for, we actually have all of our shows recorded, and we
Yes.
recommend watching them all in order to help you create your project right alongside us.
Yes.
Now, speaking of right alongside us, we've got the lovely Miss Emily here with us in the studio today.
Hello,
She's
hello.
going to be helping us answer your questions, so leave them in the comments section. She'll let us know what you'd like to know from us today.
All right, so Quilters, we started the introduction show on March 22nd.
Yes.
Where the lovely Erica joined my Wednesday event.
Crash the party.
She totally did. And we explained that all of the things you need to get started and how to create the pattern.
That's right.
Gave you kind of some ideas of fabric we were working on.
That's right. Then from April 5th, right up till today,
Yes.
we cut, sewed, and talked about quilting our Scrappy Star Log Cabin quilt with all of you in different sections.
Now, all of these shows live on our AccuQuilt website under the video gallery. They're also on our Facebook page. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch them there.
That's right. Now, I also wrote blog posts with extra tips and tricks for each part of this quilt-along, and the introduction blog, which was on March 22nd, has those rotary cutting directions for you as well.
Right, so Erica, correct me if I'm wrong, the blog said you could use our log cabin die,
Yes.
or the log cabin die by Leslie Main, our strip die,
The 1.5 inch,
strip,
yep.
and then rotary cutting instructions. So depending on how you wanted to create the project, there's information on all of it.
That's right.
All right, without further ado, let's get started on our show and tell.
Okay, my top is finished.
Yes.
So let's take a look. Yes, big shout out.
Big shout out. Here, I will hold said top.
I'm still working on piecing my Scrappy backing, and then it's going to have to be quilted.
Okay, and a huge shout out to Corey Yoder for making such a cute.
Such cute fabric. Okay,
fabric.
this, I followed the pattern to create, and I did the 6-inch finished borders, I did the 11-inch finished blocks, and before anybody asks, the fabric, which is so adorable, it's by Corey Yoder. The fabric line is called Cozy Up, and it's by Moda.
And Erica, the background fabric on this was all the same, and it's dark, which I love.
Yes.
And then
yes.
do you want to talk about, this is kind of interesting because you added this border and
So
you didn't
it
do
was
it straight.
It was too big,
Yeah.
so I did a cross. Okay,
Okay,
we
we
just
just had a bulb.
Had a bulb burn out.
Yep.
Whoa. I didn't do it straight. I did it at an angle, just like I do my binding strips. It spreads out the width, the thickness,
Right, right. No, it's actually perfect.
and looks great that way, I think. And then I put it together.
All right, so we're going to put it down here. And then,
Yes.
so let's talk about how you're going to quilt it, how you're going to finish it, what are you going to use on the back,
Okay,
all of those things.
we will. But I think first we should see what you've got over there.
Oh, yes. Okay, hold please. I'm trying really hard to fold it nice.
That was very
Okay,
nice of you.
so I traveled to Paducah last week.
Yes.
And so I had all of my blocks done before I left. And so I actually just have rows complete.
Can I hold a row for
You
you?
can, and
Okay.
we'll talk about it. Because I thought some of you might still be in this process
Okay.
where you just have rows. There we go. All right, so I'm using 12-inch blocks, and I used 24 half-yard cuts of batik. So this is kind of a cool thing. All of my centers, all of my number 2s, everything is different. In my quilt, there are no blocks that are the same.
That's so fun.
Which was really fun.
Yeah.
And then I also used a solid background, but I did mine in light, whereas Erica did hers. And then I wanted to show you this. So once I laid it out on my design wall, then I did this really important sticky note. You know how I love a good sticky note. And this is how I know that it is row 1. And it's always going to be in the upper left-hand corner.
Yep.
So I need a total of 6 rows because mine is going to be 4 by 6.
Right.
So it's going to finish to 24. Now, so then I can just take them home. I'm going to press them in opposite directions,
Yes.
which is what you did with your rows, right?
I did.
And then when I'm done, then all of these seams here will nest. And so I just thought it was so, okay, I have to say this was such a relaxing project.
I loved making this. They were just fun to sew blocks. I
Right.
can't remember having more fun sewing a block together.
Just chain piecing. Make sure you get our little clappers and our
oh gosh,
little
yes.
pressing mat
Little
and our
mat,
iron.
your little iron.
Because this is what I did. And I
Absolutely.
actually went to a retreat for a couple of days before I left to go to Paducah. And I actually sewed log cabin blocks, and it was great to just sew them together. So, okay, so this is our quilt top.
Okay.
And then let me show you what I'm doing for binding,
Okay.
which I think is going to be really fun. So I found this black fabric.
I think this is fun.
So pretty, so pretty.
Are you doing a border with this?
No, I'm going to cut, yes, a border. I'm going to cut 2.5-inch strips.
Okay.
Okay. So it's going to finish to 2 inches. And this is also what I'm binding.
It's just going to frame it out.
It is. It's going to look like a picture, which
Now-
I really wanted.
Are you doing a flange binding?
I don't know.
You
I
don't
might, because I have this.
Yeah.
So here's my thought. So here was what I had left from my half-yard cuts.
Okay.
So I purposely, Erica, made sure that I had chunks of
Fabric.
So for the outer border, I am just going to cut these outer pieces and just make a completely scrappy.
So you're going to do a narrow border of this and then a scrappy border of this around the outside. Nice.
Right. And I think if I did flange binding, I could do that because I could cut a outer border and then enough for the flange binding.
Yeah,
that would be scrappy because I think that would be really
It would be
pretty.
kind of fun.
Yeah. So I purposely, when I cut this, I made sure I had chunks of fabric.
That's so smart.
Yeah, because these were half-yard cuts.
All right, before we get started talking about how we're going to quilt our quilts,
Yes.
Emily, do we have any questions?
We actually do. Annette is wondering, please show an example of pressing. Could we see maybe the back of
Oh,
your
yeah,
box
yeah.
so
Oh.
you can show all that
I have just a
beautiful
row.
You have just a
pressing work?
row? Okay, that's going to be way easier.
Perfect.
Okay, so look how we did this. When I was sewing my block, just like
Yep.
Erica, we pressed away from the center, okay? And now that I've sewn these blocks, then I'm going to press this seam that sews the blocks together. I'm gonna press towards the ones and away from towards the odds, away from the evens. So when we put this together, the next row will be the other direction.
Right, so that those
But
will
this-
lock in and nest together.
This way of pressing away, away, away really reduces the bulk. And it also makes sure that your pieces are the right size.
Right.
Because when I pressed these, I knew that this was cut perfectly.
Yes.
So I knew that these two pieces would equal this.
Right.
The same here. It would equal here.
You know, and you would press this up, and then you
Yep.
knew your next piece went here.
Yes.
Then when you press this one up, you knew this was your next
Yes.
piece. So you
Yes.
just kind of kept turning.
Right. And for those of you who are just starting, it's not too late to start. This is such a great project. And it really was, you could do 16 blocks like Erica did. And I'm gonna tell you, we did 2 blocks at a time. And it took me about 40 minutes to sew 2 blocks.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Not my first 2.
No, right, yeah.
Right. Don't panic. Your
Yeah.
first 2, if your first 2 take you longer.
Yeah.
But here's the one tip that I know helped a lot of quilters along the way, Pam, was to sew these first 2 pieces together,
Yes.
press them, and measure them. And that way, if you need to adjust your seam allowance, you
Right.
can.
Right. Yeah, don't get to this log and go, oh man, this is wrong.
Right.
And try to adjust it.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
So as we did. And I just thought, I love the fact that it was batiks. I haven't made a batik quilt in a very,
Oh gosh,
very
I
long
haven't
time.
either. I haven't
And
either.
I thought that the fabric choices were great. And again, I love yours. I love the fact that your background is dark.
Yeah,
It
it
just
just
looks
really
different.
set it off. All right, now I want to know, what are you thinking about quilting yours?
Well, so I'm super excited about this because this morning I got a text from my son Mason, and he has a dear friend who is, she's young and she had cancer when she was 20, and now her cancer's returned. And so she's gonna have to have radiation and chemotherapy. And I thought, this is going to go to her.
Well, and it was Mason's idea,
It truly was Mason's idea.
because he said, can we make a quilt?
Which means you, Mom,
Right.
and he would do
You
it.
know how that we
Right.
works,
So
right?
Erica and I were kind of having this conversation about how I could use our signature block.
Right.
And then all the kids, she's in Mason's acting class, all the kids could sign a message and a note. Well, with mine, they could sign their message here.
Right.
Where it's white. So I
Right.
think what I do when I'm gonna quilt this, I'm gonna do big circle-y kind of quilting so that there's space on here so people can write
Yes.
a message. And then I'm going to back mine in wide back minky.
That good old Shannon Cuddle fabric.
Yeah,
it's
gonna
so
be
soft.
so soft.
It's just going to be fabulous.
Just soft for her, and it's bright and colorful.
Yes.
And it will have messages of love. And there's 20 kids in their class.
Oh my gosh,
so
it's perfect.
It was perfect. So this already has a place to go, we're so serendipitous.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, how about you?
You know what? I think I'm going to use the Handy Quilter machine that we have upstairs. Our good friends at Handy Quilter have loaned us a
Longarm.
arm here to use with our quilts. I'm going to use that. I think I'm going to do something kind of wide and swirly because there's a lot going on here.
Lots of straight
And I
lines.
don't want to, I want something swirly to kind of balance out all of the straight lines. And
Yeah.
I'm super excited about it. I've got flange binding already made.
Okay, she wins. She truly does.
I love getting my binding done ahead of time. Plus, we're working on it on the show last week.
Right.
So I was making binding with our quilters last week while you were in Paducah.
Well, and I think that there's some real validity to that because Erica always cuts the fabric for her binding when she's cutting her fabric for her quilt. One, to make sure she has enough. Because for
Which is important.
Right, because if it's a UFO and it's sitting in your closet for a few months,
Right.
maybe that fabric is gone.
Right.
Or
Right.
years. Right.
Or, yeah. And so to cut it when you're cutting the quilt is my new goal. And what are you going to use for the back?
I am putting together my fabric that's not involved with the binding.
Oh, there you go.
And doing a scrappy backing. So I started work on this last week.
Here, I'll hold it.
I'm still finishing it up. You haven't seen it yet, I don't
I
think.
haven't. I'm super excited about
So
that.
I have to finish it off. I have leftover
Look at how
logs.
fun this
And
is.
so I put those in between the big chunks that I
Yes.
had, and then I need about a 15-inch strip along the bottom or the top here, and then it'll be ready to go on the long arm.
Okay, so this is important because Erica just reminded me that it cuts 1.5-inch strips, which is half, 1.5 and 1 3/4.
Right.
Or what you need for
Flange binding. Yeah.
So, this is so cute.
Yeah. All right, Emily, we're going to start looking at quilts pretty soon, but let's check for questions.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, yes. Well, we've got folks that are definitely very excited about the T-shirts. I'm just Googling them online, y'all, and I bet you could find them.
Yeah, if you
Yep.
you Google it,
Yeah.
somebody could deliver it to you in the next few days.
Exactly. Is there a way to just fan fold to cut each strip?
Oh, just one Off the log cabin die, you mean?
Right,
Yes.
yeah, right?
Yeah, sure you can.
So it's only going to cut where there's fabric and a mat. So if we take, can I take this, Brock? Okay. Okay, so if I just want to cut shape 6, oh look, we have some fabric here.
Imagine that.
Okay, here, I just want to cut shape 2. I'm just going to put my fabric over this shape, put a mat on
Right.
and run it through.
Right.
So if you wanted to do like shape 6, you would just put you could fan fold over that shape, use your 6x12 cutting mat, and just cut those logs.
But here's the thing that you need to remember, quilters. You can use, this is not going to substitute for a strip die for you.
No, no,
because
no.
there are end blades.
Right, lengthwise grain needs to go back and forth.
So while, yes, in theory, you could just fan fold over blade number 12, you would be getting short pieces because there are blades on the end and there's no way to, you know, or you could fan fold up
Right.
and down, but again,
Yeah,
if what you want to do is cut a whole lot of strips, what you need is a strip die.
right.
Right.
If you wanted to cut 1.5-inch strips along the way, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah,
there's
because-
blades along here to
Right.
cut all the sections. But if you just need one piece that you are missing,
Right, just one log you're missing, absolutely.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. And
because
Right.
I unfortunately was missing like the background of log 3. I, don't know,
there
I
you
had
go.
to cut 3 of them. I don't know. All right, what other questions do we
All
have,
right.
Miss Emily?
yeah, let's see. A San Francisco native gal is wondering, do you sew the strips like you do in a French braided table runner, like kind of, sorta? Is it kind of like similar to a French braided table runner?
I've never made one and I don't
I
know.
haven't either.
I know.
I don't know.
I'll look it up.
Those are going to be kind of every other. This is your kind of
Oh, like
sewing, turning
herringbone.
around. Right. You're
Okay.
going around. So I
Yeah.
guess in a way it might be similar, but
It's going around. You can watch our video and
Yes.
as we're sewing those blocks together because we're going to show you how to do
yes, yeah. All right. Now, if you've joined the AQS Quilting Project Parade Group on Facebook, which we hope you all have, and if you haven't, do it right now, then, or after the show rather,
yeah.
then you'll know that there's been a ton of great pictures of everybody's progress posted up there.
And Erica and I have gone in and we've come in on them
Yes.
and looked at them and I've coveted some of them. I
So
hope
much.
they're coming way. All right, and we're super happy to be able to see how each quilt came together while we were making ours.
Yes.
And again, quilters, if you're just joining us today and you think, man, I want to make this, go back, download the free pattern at AccuQuilt.com and start. Because I feel like a lot of people are where I am.
Yes.
They have rows together.
Yep.
Listen, I'm going to finish it this week. I'm going to post it on the
Right.
parade. It'll
right.
be fun.
And I'll finish that Scrappy. Well, I might not till next week.
Erica's going away for the
For
weekend.
my happy birthday.
It is her happy birthday, which is not May the 4th, which would have been very fun.
Yes,
But
it
it's
isn't.
close enough.
All right, so let's take a look at some of those finished quilts that we have seen and tops and blocks that we've seen in our Facebook group.
Okay. Okay, the one on the left is from Joyce R. And okay, Erica, do you not love that gray? That is such a
love
modern,
it.
modern
It is
color.
such a modern, it's such a modern look for this classic block. And she had a certain size that she needed hers to be. So she
Right.
used a small border
Right.
instead of the big one. I love that. Just make it your own.
She did batiks. I love that so many of you have done batiks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then Barbara R. just totally made the log cabin in the woods and the trees and the deer and the fire and the camper. It's so snug.
really fun.
I bet it's going in her camper.
I bet it is. I bet it is.
I love it. I just think it's so pretty and such earthy tones in there.
So such a different look.
Yes.
All right, so Corrine here did hers, and she did it larger like yours,
Yes.
but she did a different layout on
She
hers.
did. She did.
So it really gives it a different feel, and I feel like maybe her quilting assistant there on the laying there on the ground maybe helped her with putting that together. And then she did a double border like you're thinking
Yes.
too.
Yeah, she did, and it kind of really frames it.
It really does. It really does.
Okay, and then Barbara did, again, those classic red, white, and blues.
Mm-hmm.
And this would be a great quilters if you're part of Quilts of Valor. Though that colorway would be perfect for the log cabin.
And I almost want to say that that's what Barbara said she was
Is
doing
that what she's
with
going to
hers.
do? Because again, now this has a triple border, so
It
has
does.
The little wider border, 2.5, I bet, and then a 1.5,
Half.
and then the wider one.
Yes, I love that look
So
too.
pretty.
That is stunning.
All right. I'm just loving all of the finished projects.
I know.
All right, we have a few
Fabulous.
more. Let's check them out.
Okay.
So first is Rose. Okay, now Erica, you like this one a lot
I do.
because of how it's framed.
How it's framed. So she put that first, she did a triple border on it again, but that first border is dark. And so it kind of frames it out and really pulls the design, that center design, really pulls out that octagon look, right?
Right, and she used Scrappy. Scrappy dark.
Her
and
lights are
light.
scrappy, her darks are scrappy. It's wonderful.
Okay, and the one for Sue on the right, first of all, those are tiny little bees. So it looks like bees and beehives, and she made hers 8-inch blocks, right?
Yes, so she made 8-inch, so she didn't use all of her logs. She just cut with the ones to make the 8-inch size, and then she used our Ghost Square 8.5-inch, 8-inch finished die to cut those bee fabric squares to offset. Again, makes it her own, totally different look, and that double border really pulls it together, I think.
Love it.
It's so cute.
Okay,
One of
and
my
then,
faves.
Okay, this one I am all hard eyes about because she used Valentine fabric.
Yes.
This is Mickey W, and Mickey did such a beautiful classic red and white.
Classic,
When I think of log cabin, it's red and white. And again, a double border, and she also did 24 blocks, and hers is gonna look different than mine. I just think it's so
It's
fun.
just so many different looks. It's wonderful. And everybody that's here has posted these on the AQS Quilting Project Parade Facebook group and used hashtag AQSews.
Yeah. Yeah, and so quilters, these are just a small portion
tiny,
of what
tiny.
is in there. And here's kind of a cool thing. If you go into the Project Parade Facebook page, you can search by the hashtag AQSews, S-E-W-S, and it will just show you all of the ones that from this project and the project
Right.
before, how it's coming along.
And you can use that hashtag to search on other social media as well, like Instagram.
Yep. And so going forward, make sure you use those hashtags.
That's right.
All right, now quilters, during this Quilt-Along series, we were asked, so many of you said, Pam and Erica, when is the next Quilt-Along series?
Well, you don't have to wait too long. On June 7th, we will be kicking off our 3rd Quilt-Along series for, drum roll please. Where's the secret?
I know.
I'm not telling you yet.
We know.
We've
We've already kind of talked about our fabric. We're not going to spoil the surprise.
That's right. You have to wait just a little bit longer for that reveal. But here's the thing. Make sure you're following our blog and make sure you watch all of our upcoming Wednesday events for hints along the way. And we might pop a hint or two into the AQS Quilting Project Parade Facebook group as well.
Yeah, you might like see our fabric.
Or
and what we're
maybe
gonna
on
do.
Instagram.
keep watching.
Just keep watching.
Okay, first of all, can I just tell you how so excited I am? This was one of the dies that I chose, and I love it, and I'm gonna be so excited because I'm using all different kinds of fabrics.
And we've both made projects with this die
Yes.
in the past.
Yes. My son Mason was
This
home
pattern.
Yeah, was home
We've
this
made this
weekend,
pattern before.
and he loved my fabric choices. He thought that was good.
Yeah.
I think he thinks that might come to him, and it's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
No, I could tell that already. And you know what?
What?
I put the first hint in today's blog post.
Oh, check it out. Check it out. Okay, so with this Quilt-Along series, along with the rest of 2023, we will follow the same structure as this one. We're going to have an introduction show. Each section of the project is going to be split up into parts because we really want you to see success. We really want you to quilt along with us. And we're going to have a show and tell. So be sure and check out our Facebook page. Like Erica said, we're going to share some sneak peeks of our fabric.
That's right.
And we'll put them in that project parade.
Right. We're going to have a total of 5 of these AQS AccuQuilt-Alongs this year. So this will be our 3rd one. These quilt-alongs all take place on Wednesdays at 12 noon Central Time. So be sure you enter your email so you're entered to win a door prize during those events.
Right, and just like the other ones, we're gonna have 5 weeks. They're gonna all be recorded. You can, if you didn't make our first quilt along, you should. That was such a fun.
It was such a fun. Yeah, go back because those are gonna live on. So here's some more quilts to look at, right?
Yes. All right, the first one is from Prairie Treasures. Okay, Erica, tell us the details of this.
Okay,
it's
this
huge.
is 104 by 104. And she had initially planned just the solid green, that's kind of a minty
yeah.
green border, but she decided to split it up with that thin border in the
like the
middle,
white.
which I really love. And
like
it's again, that little offset feeling. I just love how that turned out. And again, here's a log cabin she made. Lots more squares. She laid it out differently, and
Yes.
it's stunning. And you can tell she's not only scrappy in her lights, but also in her darks.
And her darks all have the red center, which is classic for log cabin.
totally.
But when I think of log cabin, that's the pattern I think of, right?
Yes,
Okay.
super
All
fun.
right, next we have, okay, Georgia for the modern win.
Yes, yes. This is how you take a classic block like the log cabin and give it a modern twist.
Yeah.
She's got a constant print, I think.
Yes,
Maybe it's
I
scrappy.
think
I
it
think
is.
it's a constant
I
print.
think it's constant print is
for the
one.
light, but by that asymmetrical offset
Yes.
setting makes it feel, it makes it into such a modern quilt.
Right, so it's the same size as mine. It has 24 blocks, and I just think it's fabulous. We good there? All right, so Georgia, we love that one. Now, speaking of winners, before we end our show today,
Yes.
we're going to ask Emily in just a second for
Yes.
questions, but we have a special prize for a lucky viewer who registered for today's show.
That's right. The lucky winner of $100 in AccuQuilt reward points today is, drum roll please. It's Cheryl N. from San Diego, California. Congratulations.
Cheryl. That is so fun. Okay, Emily, do we have questions?
Well, since y'all were talking about flange binding earlier, Carol wants to clarify, did Pam say that you need 1.5 and 1 3/4 inch strips for flange?
Yes.
You need to cut a 1.5 inch strip and a 1 3/4 inch strip. The 1 3/4 inch strip is actually going to be, you're going to see it on the front, whereas the
It'll
1
be the
1/2 is
smaller
the flange of color.
So it's opposite
It's opposite of what you think.
what you think.
But there are 2 dies that you can make with that, and we have videos on how to make
Yes,
flange
we
binding.
do.
Oh yeah,
do.
we've done this. Yeah.
We talked about it a lot last week, and I was putting it together last week together.
Are you doing
Pam was-
Are you doing flame?
Yes, I am. So here's what I decided to do, just so you know. My flange, the little bit is this,
Okay.
and then the outer is this same fabric. So it's gonna just have that little dark outline.
All right, Quilters, don't forget we have plenty of special offers available for you on our website. Is there May ship?
Yes, we have the May ship promotion, which is double rewards as well as free shipping on dies and bundles.
If you live in the contiguous U.S.
That's right.
Okay.
All right, so get your order in. Open a new tab on your browser. Type in AccuQuilt.com/party. You can see those deals and place your order. Any more questions? Let's see if there's
yes.
more questions first.
Let's double check here. I think Linda's wondering what is a good batik to use that doesn't need to be washed first? I think Pam, we talked
I
about
used
this.
Island Boutiques.
Okay, perfect.
Our good
That's
friends at Island Boutiques.
amazing. We love them. Awesome.
All right, it is time for the lovely Erica and I to get ready for our next show. We hope that today's show and tell has inspired you in new ways to dream up your next project, or maybe you want to make another Go Scrappy Log Cabin Star Quilt.
That's right. Now stay tuned. Don't leave when we say goodbye, because we've got a montage of even more quilt projects sent in by our viewers. Now be sure you check out also the AQS blog post. It originally was on March 29th. I think maybe they're just adding to the end
They're
of
just
it.
adding
But
to the
they're going to
quilts.
be posting every single tagged picture that they can find in that Facebook group. So be sure you check that out as well to see all the posted pictures. We'll see you next time.
Bye. much for watching. To learn more about your quilting craft, be sure to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for live events every Tuesday and Wednesday. You can check out the events page on the AccuQuilt website for more details on upcoming shows. And if you're looking for even more inspiration, visit our blog for exclusive tutorials filled with tips and tricks. And remember, at AccuQuilt, we help you cut time so you can quilt more. Check out our events page to see all of our upcoming shows. We give away some great prizes every show, so you want to tune in and see if you're a winner.
Join us every Tuesday at 12 noon Central Time for launch parties and trunk shows. These events are filled with tips, tricks, and inspiration. Next time, we'll be sharing footage from the AccuQuilt team's trip to Paducah. You don't want to miss it.
And be sure to join me every Wednesday at 12 noon Central Time for AccuQuilt Live. We have tons of fun. Next time, we'll be creating one of the projects from this month's Die to Try, the Go Lotus block. I can't wait for you to tune in and follow along.